Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back. I'm Jeannie and I'm super excited for today's video because I'm sharing with you Vivid Glam Co's May duo. So every month she comes out with a new duo and this is Pink Lemonade vibes and so gorgeous. So we've got Squeeze Me and Pink Lemonade. So if you're watching this video at the time I upload it, Monday, May 1st, the duo is available starting at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, I believe is the time that they release. And you want to go run and grab them because they are discounted through the month of May. So starting with Squeeze Me, it is a beautiful baby yellow color with pink flakes in it, which is hard to tell. And then Pink Lemonade, oh, it is a pink glitter with silver glitters. It's a smaller glitter and it's just so gorgeous. So let me just quickly show you these swatches and let's get into the mani. I'll be using my Dipped in Chaos by Chaos Concepts for Squeeze Me because I'm going to be doing a French mani on my index finger, and the Dipped in Chaos also doubles as a French tray, which is perfect for that. And also I want to be able to pick up those beautiful pink flakies in this dip. It's so hard to capture on camera, but wait till you see it in person. I'll also be using clear for my French mani, and I'm going to be using the Vivid Glam Co crystal glass. This is an older jar back when she was Vivid Dip. I just pour my crystal glass in there as a separate glitter clear. And then I will also be using my Vivid Glam Co dip liquids. If you've watched me before, you know that these are some of my favorite dip liquids. But getting into my nails, let's start with our French mani on my index finger. So I'm going to apply a thin, even layer of dip base to my entire nail, and then I am going to slowly guide my finger at an angle into Squeeze Me. And so I'm going to guide it up until where my natural smile line starts. So it's really a matter of preference how far you want to go up. I usually keep it to where my smile line starts. And I decided it was a little bit crooked, so I'm going back in and just seeing if I can straighten that up a little bit more, just to make it a little more even. So I will tap off the excess, and then I'm going to pour over clear to the rest of my nail to absorb the rest of that dip base. And I'll also clean up my cuticle line because you want to make sure you don't have any excess liquid or products on your skin because that can cause lifting. For my middle finger, I'm going to do a little bit of color blocking vertically down the center of my nail. Well, I try to get the center of my nail, but you'll see it's not really the center, but that's fine. So I'm using this roll of washi tape. I love using washi tape for my color blocking because it doesn't stick to the nail, but you don't have dip base bleeding in as long as you make sure that washi tape is down tight. Now I am wearing peel base underneath this mani, so I did apply a layer of dip base on top of my peel base just to make sure that I didn't pull up my peel base with when I peel up the washi tape. So you always want something protect your peel base. So you can either do a dip and clear and activate, or you can do a layer of dip base. So I'm just trying to make sure my tape is straight and it's not center, I know. So once I've got that washi tape down on the exposed part of my nail, I'm going to apply a thin, even layer of dip base. It's okay if you get a little bit on the tape. Obviously, you don't want to go over the tape, but a little bit on the tape is fine. And then I'm just going to lay my finger into Squeeze Me to get that color onto that part that's exposed that isn't covered up by tape. I'm going to clean up my cuticle line as always just to make sure I don't have any excess product or dip base on my skin. Whenever I'm working with clear, I always make sure that I'm using a stiff scrub brush to get off any of that excess clear, and that's going to help with any graininess or cloudiness. So now going into my second layer, it's going to be the same thing. So I'm going to apply a thin, even layer of dip base to my entire nail, and then this time when I guide my nail into my Squeeze Me, I'm going to use my first layer as my guide. So I want to make sure that I'm lining it up with my first layer. I don't want to go further than what I did with my first layer or too far down. I want to make sure it's as even as possible. So I do go a little bit slower because sometimes it's really hard to match it up because you have to make sure you're also going in at the right angle. So I'm going a little slower. I'm just guiding my finger in. And once I hit that point, I like to have my finger sitting there just for a little bit, and then I will tap off the excess. And then I'm going to pour over clear to the rest of my nail to absorb the rest of that dip base. And it's really that easy when doing a French manicure. Moving on to my color block nail, I'm going to dust off the excess powder, and then I'm going to do the same thing I did for the first layer. So I'm going to apply a thin, even layer of dip base to the part of the nail that's not covered up by the tape. It's okay if you overlap the tape by a little bit, but you don't want to go completely over the tape because that may make it harder to remove. And so then I'm going to lay my finger into Squeeze Me, tap off the excess powder. I did it twice just to make sure I'm absorbing all that dip base. I'm going to clean up my cuticle area just to make sure I don't have any product on it. And then I'm going to peel up the tape very carefully. So when you're peeling up the tape, you want to be careful because if you rip it off too quickly, you could take off the dip you just applied with it. And also I don't want to rip off the dip base either. So I'm just carefully removing it. And I will say if you do more than 2 layers, you probably want to remove the tape after your second layer and apply another piece of tape, or you could just use what you did for your first 2 dips as your guide, because the more layers you do, the more likely your tape is going to stick. So just want to keep that in mind. So now I'm just taking the flat end of this cuticle tool and I just want to make the line a little bit crisper. So I'm just kind of pushing that in a little bit while the dip base is still a little bit wet. My pinky is going to be a full nail of Squeeze Me, so I don't know why I didn't do it while I was doing my index and middle finger, but anyway, so that's just going to be my regular dipping process. So I do want to mention, if you see my right hand, it looks worse than it is. It actually isn't that bad, but in order to protect it, I had to wrap it up that way because it was constantly getting wet and band-aids weren't sticking to the palm of my hand. So I had decided, because we moved into our house a year ago, and I never liked the flower bed in the front of the house because it was like a jungle and it was just like random things planted. There was no like consistency. So I decided I wanted to finally fix it. So I pulled everything up, but the roots of those flowers were so deep that it took me hours to get them up, and I ended up with a huge blister on the palm of my hand from just digging them up. I had on gloves, but that didn't help. So I'm just trying to protect it, keep it dry. It was still a little, sensitive to the touch. So that's kind of why I wrapped it up in the gauze. So it isn't as bad as it looks, but I know it looks a little crazy. For my color block nail, I want to make sure that the surface is smooth and even. So for the part that was covered up by the tape, I'm applying a thin, even layer of dip base just to that part, and I'm going to dip it in clear just so that it's even with the Squeeze Me. Now, I did 2 layers of Squeeze Me, so I thought I'd have to do 2 layers of clear to make it even, just because 2 dips and 2 dips, but when I looked at it after I dipped in clear, it seemed pretty even, so I don't think I need to do a second layer, so I just keep it at that one, so you can see you don't really see that line. So now I'm going to move on to Pink Lemonade, which is so beautiful. So that's just going to be a full dip on my ring finger and my thumb. So I'll just let you watch me do this. I'm going to do 2 layers of Pink Lemonade on both those fingers.
Long time, get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes.
After I finished capping my nails in clear, I decided I just really didn't like the way the French looked on my index finger. So I made the executive decision to pop that off and redo it just because I just wasn't happy with it. So I wanted to leave it in here just to show you that sometimes I change course mid-mani, like I'm not happy with the way something turned out. And that's the benefit of peel base is I just pop it off and I start over. So that's what I did for this mani. So I ended up doing my French a little bit lower than I did the first time because I just felt like it was too high up on the nail and it just looked off to me. So I ended up doing my French a little below where my natural smile line starts, and I was much happier with the way this turned out. So I went ahead and filed and buffed off camera. So here's how we're looking. And you know me, I decided I needed a little bit more. So I'm going to use these line art gels from iGel Beauty to do a little bit of art on my color block nails. So I've got this beautiful pink, which is Baby Girl, and the silver, can't remember the name of it. So on the clear part of my color block nail, I'm going to draw like a half flower, and it's going to be sort of like a daisy. So I'm just drawing the petals. So I want it a little bit fatter at the end of the petal and then taper in towards the center of my nail, but I only want it on the clear part, so I'm stopping where the clear meets Squeeze Me. So I did 3 petals and I thought that was not enough. I wanted it a little bit fuller, so I ended up with 5 petals total. So once I'm finished drawing those petals, I will give it a cure in my big lamp for 60 seconds just to make sure everything is fully cured.
Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, 'cause that's what it takes. I'm never gonna look back, 'cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change.
And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the silver liner and just draw a straight line down the center of my nail because I wanted a clear delineation between the Squeeze Me and the flower in the clear. And so the good thing about using these liner gels is that the brush is long and skinny, so I cannot draw a straight line to save my life, but I find that the longer and skinnier your brush is, the easier it is to draw that line. So it's as straight as I could get it. I gave that a full cure for 60 seconds, so now I'm ready to get into my dip top coat. And these line art gels cure as a non-wipe, so I can go ahead and go in and apply my final layer of activator. So it's going to be one thin layer on all my nails. Once I've got the activator fully on all my nails, I'm going to wait 2 minutes, and then I'm going to go in with my dip top coat.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shoot tastes out.
Once my top coat is fully dry, I'm going to go ahead and go in and rehydrate my cuticle. So I'm using Scales of a Mermaid in the scent Comfort Zone. And so this is one of her most recent releases. I am obsessed with anything Scales, and this one is no exception. It is such a great scent. So here we are with the finished look. What do you think? I may have gone a little bit overboard, but I just couldn't help myself because I just love these colors so much. And there was like so many ideas floating around in my head. So I had to do a little bit of everything and just check out this beautiful glitter that is Pink Lemonade. I just love the mixture of the pink with the silver. Just so pretty. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue creating content like this, and it also helps YouTube recommend me to others, which helps grow my channel. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I upload content every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Picking up all the pieces is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back, cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's fast.